Hello everyone. Today we are going to review part of the endgame between Nepo and So in the FTX Crypto Cup. Do you see how important it is to be very aware what you're doing in the endgame? Endgame will decide everything, you know. And so I'm on move 38 here. As you can see, we have Nepo's white and So is black. We have even material. We have 1, 2, 3. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3 pawns and 3 pawns, and we have rooks to rooks, and then we have a bishop versus a knight endgame. Okay, bishop versus a knight endgame. So see what is going on. I think you should set this up with you and play against play these moves yourselves to see how you could have improved the positions, because you have many choices. But imagine what So was able to do with black. Usually it's harder to win with black, so you sometimes don't want to be black. But here we'll see what will happen between Nepo and So. So we moved the king. Okay, we're trying to go attack the pawn, but the king move was first, so the king is protecting this pawn. And then he wants to get rid of this rook. So the rook is gotten rid of. The rooks are off the board now. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, you are reducing your abilities, because at this point it does a knight. Knight can kind of jump all over the place, where a bishop is kind of linear. It has only white squares. Technically, if these pawns move to dark squares, how are you going to attack them? You're just going to have a king to attack them? So I don't know if this was the best move. So again, when I started, set it up on your board and play different variations that you would have done. And now this is a crucial moment. The knight takes the pawn. We have a disequilibrium, and there's no way for Nepo to take the pawn here, for example, any of these, because these are being protected. While this move also is kind of making the bishop move out, because now it's being attacked. So it's like a double whammy for Nepo. So he's forced to move the bishop, and he moves it a little bit back. Okay, he's hoping that one of these pawns will be moved, and then he can attack. At least this pawn becomes isolated, because this one for the moment is being blocked by its own king. So he thinks this is the best place, this is the best diagonal to be on. Obviously, this knight can jump over here to d3, avoiding, and it can jump around to be able to get to this king, or also eat up these pawns. We shall see what happens. So now we have 3 against 2. Not a good position in that one moment there that I showed you. So the king is moved up to be protecting both of his pawns. Now we are attacking the knight. Now this knight move is very crucial. Where are you going to move the knight? Where does he move the knight? He moves the knight out. He has moved the bishop now to try to attack this pawn, hoping that this king has to move eventually. This is very precision type of, and if you're down on the clock, that's another reason one person can blunder. If you're down on the clock, for example, or you're careless, or you're overconfident. So there are 3 main reasons why people blunder. Ask yourself, when you blunder, what kind of blunder was it? Probably in the beginner's level, you have like tactical skills, so please do a lot of puzzles and learn some favorite openings and just stick to them. And really, it's like a path that hasn't been traveled. You have to travel a path until you get it, and then it's kind of like automatic, like playing the piano. First, you have to learn where the notes are, the positions. Before you know it, you're just playing, right? Your fingers just do the walking. Same with chess. Once you know certain patterns, they're just automatic. The crucial part becomes when it's a totally different type of position in the middle game, for example, and you have to be creative. So it's like an artist. You can draw a flower, but my flower will not look like your flower, will it? So that's the beauty of chess. You have the strategy, you know, the theory, but you also have the human component, the creativity. Let's see. And endgame, you really have to be precise. So you have to be like a Swiss watch machine. And the more you know the endgames, the faster you can calculate, and the more like playing flawlessly on the piano. You're not choppy, right? This is no time to be choppy in the end game. You have to really know your end game and sharpen your end game skills to improve in chess. If you don't, you have limited time. Start with end games, please. Okay, now he moves the pawn. It's on a black square. Okay, it's just interesting how he just moved it back. He could have moved it to d1 to prepare that this pawn would move. Okay, but he's really got only this bishop to maneuver, to try to even be to threaten. But right now he can't threaten anything. He could have gone here to d1, I would say. That's why preventing this pawn move, and then somehow calculate and activate his bishop, his king, go around to try to get at some of this. But right now it's very protected. You know, it's very hard to get rid of any of black's pawns with the knight being there and the bishop being very linear. Okay, now he's coming up to protect his pawns. And look at that. He's calculated with this move to attack this pawn. And you have to have a move. So he moves back with his king. Okay, he's going to be sticking to these, sticking to trying to protect his white pawns. He has moved his king out of the way there. And notice his king is staying on a black square, so the bishop cannot threaten it. Well, the knight still can go on a white or a black square. Do you see the difference in the endgame between the bishop and the knight? Okay, now he's going after the king. Okay, repositioning again. This is where endgame, knight endgames are crucial to really focus and understand. Notice how now the black king is hugging these pawns, okay, as a protective mother with her calves, like a whale protective of its baby calf. Okay, now he's been able to move. Look how slowly but surely he's moving around, staying on the black squares, avoiding the white squares to try to get at these pawns. It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time. Okay, look how fast now he's on a position to get and coordinate with his knight to get at these pawn structure and the king. Well, what has the white been able to do? Just dance around with his bishop forward and backward, not really very active, no threats at all. Okay, he could somehow make it here, but how many moves would that take? Do you see what I'm saying? He's losing quite badly here with that component. By losing that pawn, look how strong the knight looks here versus the bishop in the endgame. So think about that when you're sacrificing. What do you prefer to have at the end game, the bishop or knight? Okay, now they're in opposition. He's moved up, but is that going to be enough? Not right now, because look, this knight is protecting this pawn, and that's the only one he could attack. Okay, he cannot go on to this attack this pawn at all unless it moves to the white square. But he's far away from that position. Okay, now he's attacking the white pawn again with his knight. Okay, a check, moving up. Finally went up. Okay, finally we may be able to get this pawn. but So beat him to it, to this pawn. So now, even though he's got there, now it's going to be 2 against 1. Do you see? This knight is protecting this pawn. So he doesn't want to take it, doesn't want to lose his bishop. It's getting crowded. And this is where Nepo resigned. So do you see? Put that in the board and see if you could have done something better with the bishop. Caused more threats than Nepo was able to do. Would you have been able to do that? Would you have been able to somehow stop and calculate, stop the knight from doing all these movements? So this is a good study. Go back to the video, set it up, and play it again and again with a person or on a computer with the different programs. So this is a good practice for you. The knight versus a bishop endgame. It started equal, and look at how it ended up. Did not end up in a draw, and it ended up with So winning with black pieces. So you see that? This is how chess works. The beauty of the game. Take care, and it will be So and Magnus in the finals of the Crypto Cup, by the way. Au revoir. With all of this, So won, and also Magnus won against Radyabov, and then it will be So versus Magnus, Magnus versus So, whichever way you want to see it. Take care.